smile upon us today. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna just out the gates start to share my screen. So we're in week 3 of a 4-week offering that I'm doing seasonally, and if you haven't been here for the first couple weeks, it doesn't really matter. You're here today. And so I wanted to just invite us to arrive at this gathering because we're probably all in our busy days doing stuff. So let's just take 3 just nice, slow breaths together and just breathe in through your nose and just allow that breath to bring you here and exhale. Let the exhale be an energetic and metaphorical release. And just 2 more times and just kind of just feel that shift. I love when I can get to focus on my breath because it's just so simple and it goes everywhere with us. So we're gathering pretty close to the peak of this lunar cycle, and I'm inviting us all to work with the lunar, and we'll be working with solar energy soon enough, as our ancestors did. That's how they kept their calendars, that's how they told time. And this is kind of if you started off with it planting a seed this new moon, this is kind of the sacred midpoint between what's growing and what's going to be manifested or released. So in week 3, we're moving from this idea of the intention into the growth or the manifestation or the revelation of what's happening. And the full moon shows us what's happening with our manifestation. And so I invite you to just pause for a moment. And in my experience, it's not like you plant a seed and then in that lunar cycle, sometimes it does happen, bam, there it goes. But sometimes it's just a matter of like an illumination of a shift, a next step. And so I just invite you to kind of check in with yourself. If there's something that's been on your mind or in your heart for this lunar cycle that you've been wanting to pull into reality, just think back over the last little bit of time, the last few days, the last week. Was there something that feels illuminated? Some kind of clarity, something that came to mind, and that might be a behavior, it might be a person, it might be just a pull towards something. So just kind of check in with yourself this week. And as I mentioned, the full moon is the peak of the lunar cycle. So what we seeded is visible, or we're getting some sort of a download about it. And part of what happens though is that there's shifts that are going to be made for the next 2 weeks. So around this time, there's something that might have come to light, but there's also something that might be ready to be released, something that might be in the way, something that no longer serves. So it's both, I put here, revelation and culmination because I always feel like the full moons are they might not be gentle, but they're honest. And they are gentle if we're working with the energies, but just kind of sit with that energetic of what's ready to be realized, what's ready to be released. And the theme of this particular lunation, this full moon, I offered 3 there could be 3 gates that could be opening, one of them or a couple of them. And the themes would be clarity, illumination, but also empowerment, because we're not powerless. Even if something's not manifested exactly as we wanted at this point in time, we're being shown that we are energetic creators and that there's this sense of agency about what we're going to be releasing, how we're going to be shifting, how we're going to be reorienting. So when you look at these 3 words, I just again invite you to just turn inward, be in this gathering, we're gathered as a group, but which one of these themes might be pinging for you right now? And just take a breath, just take a moment to kind of feel what might be true for you. And so let's really also touch on the energy of what just happened. That moon was exact just, 24, 48 hours ago. And it was a Gemini full moon. So Gemini activates the mind as well as the nervous system. We're going to be doing a nervous system meditation to help us rebalance. It's about the way we speak, it's about the way we listen, it's about communication. Gemini is mutable masculine air. And this particular full moon, it's about, awareness, perception, but also duality. Gemini is a sign of the twins, and it shows us where two things can be simultaneously held at once. So part of the shadow side of Gemini is polarity, but the other part of Gemini, when Gemini is in its groove, is everything is held in the container. So one of the questions, just at a very high level, a very basic level for this full moon, is what opposing truths might be seeking to be integrated? And one of the themes here, and I'll get to this in the next slide, is can we have our cake and eat it too? Do we have to do some of the old patterns that are running? What if we can allow a more integrative way of being with ourselves and with our world? And I want to really quickly share. I talked about this in the podcast, but I wanted to just pull up this chart and show you what's really kind of special and unique about this lunation. So we have the sun conjunct the great attractor, which I'm not showing on this chart, but we have the sun and the moon are opposite each other. So those are the ones with the green circles. They are in Gemini and Sagittarius. This is a mutable grand cross. Everything's happening, and all four of these signs are mutable. And then at the kind of at what would that be? 11 o'clock on the chart, the red circle kind of at the top, that's the north node. That's in Pisces. And down opposite it on the bottom, the other red circle. It's not shown in the chart, but that is where the south node is. And the south node is in the sign of Virgo. And so when we think about what that energy means, in addition to just a general Gemini full moon, this is really kind of profound to have a Grand Cross integrating the nodes and having it all be mutable. So everything mutable is as it sounds. Everything's shiftable. And with the South Node in Virgo, this is about, that something that might be ready to be let go. The South is where we've been. South is a pattern that we've karmically are ready to maybe release. So some of that might be some of the shadow side of Virgo is control through perfectionism, overanalysis, hypercritical of oneself, hyper responsibility. And one of the things that really came to mind for me was like this idea of earning our worth through usefulness or through fixing. And I think one of the ways that we as a collective have become comfortable orienting ourselves in our world is I work really hard. I jump through XYZ hoops, therefore, dot, 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 I deserve this manifestation. And one of the things with North Node in the sign of Pisces. Well, let's also say that South Node is conjunct Orcus, and Orcus is about promises and contracts. And so this could be something that's about something that you brought into this life from a past experience, but it's also about carrying something that might not be yours, which is why I'm leaning on the idea of a collective notion that might be ready for revision here with the South Node in Virgo. So then we also have the North Node in Pisces, and this is where Pisces is just going to pull us. North Node in Pisces is going to pull us from that idea of controlling into trusting, and from the idea of needing to fix something into having faith in the process, and the idea of over hyper functioning or doing into just spiritual surrender. So it's like instead of micromanaging the minutia of our days, We're tapping into the mysticism, we're tapping into the energetic flows. And that's what I think makes this particular full moon really quite lovely. And so let's go ahead. Let me get to, I put some notes here of what the Grand Cross with the nodes, there's this sense of, I put emotional intensity, but I think it's more like our emotions are showing us the energetic flows. And there's going to be this ability to really put our finger on the energy of what's happening for us. And there's these themes of karma, collective karma, individual karma. Is there something that's operating that is ready for release and ready for revision? So that Grand Cross is like a crossroads, right? And it's about trusting our emotional wisdom. And I wanted to invite a reframe. Instead of I have to do everything right in order to dot, 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 in shifting that into I allowing ourselves to be carried by by some force. There's if you believe in God, if you believe in energy, the universe, not being alone, whatever. But there's these larger forces afoot, and the lunar cycle and the lunar energy is one of them. And we've just had a third of three super full moons. So this is also kind of big energy. So I kind of just want us to check in with ourselves about what the realizations might be showing us. And I want to stop my share. I don't want to just particularly jabber at you guys, but I wonder if anybody has anything that they want to share or realizations. If not, I could keep going, but I wanted to open it up here for a moment.
Are you asking about real? Oh, go ahead, Christina, please. You first.
Oh, that's okay.
No, 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 please go ahead.
Um, this is a really big time for me and my husband because I'm Virgo and he is Pisces.
Hmm.
And so it's definitely highlighting for us just our differences and how to better work together.
That's awesome. That's that's perfect because that's the realization, right? And the route to the manifestation. Thank you for sharing. Adam, what were you gonna say?
I was just so are we talking about just like at the moment or in the last few months, the last week, last years? Like what are
Oh,
we
I think
looking?
it's all of it. We're looking, okay, so we're looking at this last couple weeks potentially, but we're
Mhm.
also looking at the last year. This is the last lunation of this particular year. Could be something in between. There's
Right.
we all pick up our themes and our desires at different times. It's not like we all come out of the gate at the same time, right? And we're like, okay, it's today, and we're all going to start at the same time. So it kind of ebbs and flows. But I think the idea of the realization and the idea of these themes is that maybe there's something culminating or something coming to surface or something like there's a pattern that we're finally really putting our finger on. Is that helpful?
It is. I mean, for me, I'm certainly in a transformation period of my own life where it's really we've talked about this before, you and I, Lisa, but like last 3 years in general, going through a divorce, I went through a complete business transformation, um, quit drinking alcohol, so a complete 180 of my whole life and sort of like life purpose stuff that's been happening for me. And it's all really, I'm writing a book right now that I've been in the process of doing for the last couple of months. And it's all sort of just really coming to a head in the last couple of weeks, really. And even this week, before getting on this call, I was spent a couple hours writing a chapter about sort of it was actually entitled Not Here, Not There. And that's exactly how I feel. It's sort of right on that sort of precipice of sort of where I'm supposed to be and where I'm coming from. And it's really it's feeling like that. It's feeling like the energies are too strong these days to sort of keep me from not going where I need to go, even though, there's a lot of trust in the flow. And having to go, but it's, scary, but at the same time, I can't look back. So that's sort of how it feels at the moment for me. And
I love it. That's really well articulated. The idea is that, like, yeah, there's a little bit of newness or resistance or trepidation, whatever it is, but there's also just clarity that's like, I'm here. I'm doing this, So I feel that. Thank you for
yeah, true.
anybody else have anything they want to share? Shar says similar circumstances for me too. Everything is changing with health, career, partnership, and lifestyle.
Huh,
Cool.
cool.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead. One of the things that I wanted to continue to offer in this particular time, I really like working with plants and I like working with herbs because I grow them and I feel like they're just the plant kingdom to me is just like so um alive for lack of a better word. And so I wanted to present something because if you were here the first week or the first 2 weeks, I invited you to like write your intention and work with a clear glass jar of water and send those intentions into that water. You can consume the water, but this is another way that you can use the water. And I do this, I make these, I sell them, but I wanted to kind of just let you guys know that you could do this too. This idea of an energetic spray. And so first of all, you're going to need a spray bottle. We're going to just spend a couple minutes on this, but I just wanted to kind of invite us to consider that, this would if we were going to make a spray right now, and I'll put this little recipe up on the webpage, this would be a perfect time for energetic purification, emotional clearing, space cleansing, and just really working with these energies. And so I wanted to give you a sense of what you could do, how easy these are to make. I used charged lunar water most of the time. You can also use a hydrosol. A hydrosol requires you to have, well, for me, I have a distiller, but the hydrosol is the plant water. If you use a hydrosol, you're definitely going to have alcohol, the second ingredient, because they're going to be plant matter. So witch hazel or alcohol can be used um, as a preservative, as to help clear and to help with hygiene. And then I kind of wanted to invite that at this point in the lunar cycle, lavender essential oil is just really great for nervous system stuff, for calming. This particular lunation with Gemini is nervous system related. Rosemary is really good for protection, but rosemary is also really good for mental clarity, right? There's lots of research on rosemary and cognitive stuff. So rosemary is a nice one to add. And then maybe something citrus, because citrus is always adds a sense of brightness, but it also helps to move things. And if this particular time is one of illumination and then releasing, then you could also, so it would be mostly water and a couple drops of each of those oils. You don't need a lot of essential oil. And then you can add a crystal into the little jar or a crystal essence. I love working with crystals. I love charging up all the things that I do. And also let this inspire you. And if there's a scent that you like, use it. But I just kind of wanted to invite us to let you know that you can do this. And all you do is put the essential oils, and we're going to be working with a tool that I am developing for us here, to look at our own birth chart and look at what, not just like what our planetary placements mean, but also there's a line of astrology called medical astrology, and it's where how the plants interact with astrological placements. So you'll get more information on that by the end of this session. But then you're just going to add the water and the alcohol or witch hazel, just like a teaspoon of alcohol or witch hazel. You're going to infuse it with intention, shake it, and store it somewhere. So this is both a physical thing that you can use as a pillow spray, or you could just use it to before you go out the door. But I love doing things like these, and you guys have probably seen on my website I make all sorts of sprays. So I just wanted to share with you that that's one way that you could really, really simply work with the charged water that you already have. Okay, and so now we're gonna kind of personalize this a little bit, and I'm gonna drop a link in the chat here for you guys to, if you want to do this with me. Otherwise, I will also just be sharing my screen, and this link, just so you know, isn't the final link. It's just the link for while I'm continuing to finalize this app. So let me find the chat and share this with you guys. Here we go. And then I'm going to share my screen and show you how to do this if this was something you would want to do. And this is something that you're going to be able to access from my website. But here, for example, so there's a couple tabs here. We're going to be working with the birth chart tab, which is over there on the left, and also the astro herbalism tab, which is over there on the right. The compatibility functionality is leaves a little bit to be desired for me, so I'm gonna wait a week before I invite you to check that out. But so the first thing you're gonna do is put your name and put your date of birth and put your birth time. Whoops. And your birth location. And then one thing you can just do right out the gate is it's going to give you your chart and it's going to give you your sun sign and your moon sign. And it's going to give you a little bit this is kind of fun. It's going to give you some insights about who you are. Now, this, I will say, this is like a few steps above like Cosmopolitan magazine astrology. We're not putting together all the nuances that can come with the chart, but I would invite you to kind of, if you wanted to play with this. And also, I kind of want you guys to invite you to play with this because this is something that is benefiting by people interacting with it. And so this, you can see all your different placements. And I would really appreciate feedback on it if anybody wants to take it for a test drive. But the other thing that you can do here is go to the Astro Herbalism tab, and you can go over here and you can put your info in just like you did before. Um, and it's going to generate. There's a whole course I could teach on this. This is really basic stuff, but there's different, depending on the moon phase that you're born under, depending on the sun sign and the moon side, and there's just basic little um, herbs that you can consider using that are good for your particular placement. And so what I wanted to do is to start to try to share that with you guys because this makes instead of me just saying use lavender and rosemary for protection, like this is also something that you can I feel like part of this is there's a blanket energy that's affecting all of us as we inhabit this planet, right? But then there's also our unique stamps and our unique nuances, and these kind of tools I think are help to personalize it. Does that make sense? Okay. The thing I wanted to do next was a meditation. So take that for a test drive if you want, and I would love to um, get your feedback on that as I'm developing it.
Okay, so turn on Do Not Disturb.
Are you talking to me? No. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to get to some a meditation. I wanted to spend at least about 10 or 15 minutes really doing some energy clearing work. So just remembering that this is a full moon is about it's gonna, especially a supermoon, it's gonna amplify and bring things up that are ready to be seen. But the idea is that nothing is happening by force. These are all flows. These are all things that we're not supposed to be linear pounding ahead. We're supposed to be listening to the flows and to the nuances of what's coming up for us. So this is just a very basic uh, image of a full moon here. And what I want to kind of invite us to do is drop into a space where you can turn your camera off, you can keep your camera on, but we're going to be doing about roughly I don't know, a 5 to 10 minute meditation here. So find somewhere where you're going to be able to be in the gathering, but really be with yourself. And you can sit with your spine straight. I would invite you to uncross your legs and put your feet on the floor if you can. You can also lie down if that's uh, preferable. And the spine is straight and it's long, but we're not trying to hold the body for any reason. And let your hands just rest wherever they naturally want to rest. And we're going to return to the breath. Breathing in slowly through your nose. Go ahead and deepen that inhale. And feel it. Feel the physical sensation of the air in the nostrils, the air filling up your chest, your rib cage expanding, and then exhale through the mouth. And feel the breath leaving the body. So just a couple more rounds just like that. Just tuning into the physical sensation of your breath and slowing it down and deepening the breath. And now, in addition to just the physical sensation, let the energetic metaphor be the case too. Fresh air, fresh prana coming in on the in breath, calling you to this moment. And on the out breath, a release, an energetic opportunity to let go. And let's just take one more nice, deeper, easy breath together. And then just allow the breath to return to whatever its natural rhythm may be in this moment in time. And as you're here breathing, just see if you can check in and remind yourself that there's nothing you need to control right now. There's nothing you need to fix. There's nothing you need to do. But instead, right now, there's just something to receive. And now imagine you're outside at night underneath the full moon. And connect to the fully illuminated moon above you. And almost feel its sentience, feel its energy. It's not just a distant object out there in the sky. It's this living, sentient, beaming light. And invite that moonlight to descend gently onto you. And first, let it touch the crown of your head. And feel this light connecting with the top of your head. It's cool, it's clear, it's quiet, but it's powerful. And this lunar light's going to continue down from the crown of the head into your forehead, through your eyes, through your cheeks, down into your jaw, down into your throat. And just experience that any tension in these areas, physical or energetic, is just beginning to loosen with contact with this lunar light. And it's loosening again without effort. And just allow the moonlight to continue its slow descent down into your shoulders, moving into your arms and your hands. Feel your hands relax, feel your fingers soften. Any tension in the arms is being released. And now imagine the light is also moving down through your chest. It's moving into the heart space. And the heart space is a space where it's part of our emotional memory. It's a place where all the joy and all the grief, everything lives in this space. And as the moonlight comes into your heart, it doesn't judge what's present. It's only illuminating and softening. And so notice as you're in your heart space, if there's any emotion that's present that feels heavy or unresolved or tight or fearful. You don't have to name it, just allow the light to touch it. And imagine, maybe start to experience that this light is just gently loosening something that might have been stuck or compressed. And just let it start to loosen and soften without force. I'm just going to stay in the heart space for just a couple more breaths. And then let's imagine and allow this moonlight to continue to move down through your ribs, down through your solar plexus, and down into your belly. And here in the gut is often where we feel our nervous system kind of organize itself around safety and whether or not we are safe, around feeling yes and no, around holding and releasing. So just imagine that as the light is moving down through your ribs into your belly, just imagine it's just soothing and equalizing the nervous system right now. Let your belly soften. Maybe even just start to deepen your breath just slightly. And see if you can just let yourself be soothed in the stillness of this moment by this light as it's connecting not only with your heart and your chest, but down into your belly. And now allow the light to continue to travel down. It's going to move down through your hips, loosening, releasing down through your thighs, your knees, down through your calves, down through your feet. And imagine this light is also now going all the way down into the soil beneath your feet or beneath your body if you're lying down. So you're simultaneously illuminated from the light of the moon above you, but now you're grounded by this illuminating light. And now, as you're illuminated and nourished by the light of the moon, I invite you to silently offer something, one thing that you're ready to release. You don't need to analyze it. You don't need to justify it. Just notice what might rise into your awareness. And see this thing that's in your awareness as an offering that's dissolving into the moonlight. And as it dissolves, it's not destroyed, it's not combated, it's not thrown away. It's just simply returned to neutral energy. And feel again that this light of this moon is not judging. The moon is holding what you're releasing without resistance. And feel that energy as it's been released. There's this space that has been made within you. And now invite and allow one quality to gently take its place. Not something you need to strive for, just something that kind of naturally wants to come in. This may be clarity, calm, trust. It might be that sort of soft courage or strength. Or maybe it's just stillness. Let whatever comes come in. And let it settle wherever it wants to settle in your body. Notice if there's a place where it's coming to settle. And now begin to notice just the subtle sensations of your physical body again. Feel the rib cage. Feel your heart beating. Maybe feel the support in the chair that you're seated in. Feel the weight of your body. And imagine that this light that has been illuminating you from the moon is still present, but it's beginning to soften. It's not fully leaving, it's only leaving what feels balanced and aligned. And now take a nice, easy breath in through your nose and connect to that breath. Feel it in your nostrils. Feel your ribcage rise. And as you exhale, release the breath through your mouth. One more time, breathing in through your nose. And just an easy release through the mouth. And when you feel ready, just start to gently allow yourself to come back into the space where you were meditating, come back into the room that you're in, the place that you're in. To come back into this slowly, maybe opening your eyes, coming back into this gathering. And I invite you to just be in the stillness for a couple more breaths here. There's nothing to rush. And I invite you to imagine that this clearing that we did and this integration that we did, that this can be something that can continue over time. And maybe even invite that this medicine, this clearing, these realizations, if there's something that is still maybe being ready to release or wants to come in, it can be the next 48 hours, it can be the rest of the lunar cycle. And I once again, I forgot to tell you guys to bring a journal. But I wanted to invite us to consider, as we're kind of coming back together, a couple questions. And maybe one of these works or a couple of them work. And the first question is, what has become visible for me during this cycle? or and what truth am I now able to acknowledge? And we've already kind of touched on this one, but what am I ready to release under this full moon? And in that's the next week of time at least. But also, as we did in that meditation, nature abhors a vacuum. So we release something, something else comes in. So what clarity, what intentionality, what realization am I carrying forward? And I wanted to just kind of stop the screen share here and invite us to reflect. I think, one of the things for me that I really appreciate about astrology is that it helps me to have another lens to look at my own lived experience by. And it's interesting for me that some of the themes that are coming up are, as I mentioned, it's about this new way of being and new way of orienting ourselves in the world and really stepping into who we're our soul wants us to be. And so that might mean releasing old patterns of how we're safe and why we're worthy. And for me, that really, I just wanted to kind of personally share that's definitely on point. Um, because I am somebody who have conditioned myself that I need to work really, 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 really hard in order to have whatever. So I don't know if anybody has anything they want to share before we kind of.
I'd like to share.
Yeah,
Can
hi,
you hear me?
Shannon.
Hi, it's been a long time since
See
I've
you.
been able to join you in a class. It's really fun. Um, so I've been doing this really amazing breathwork and dance journey for like 3 months here, and it's once a week. And through that, like I just love, I love going there so much, and I'm really feeling like I'm getting connected to my own soul and my own just connection with spirit. And it feels really empowering. But then I notice when I come into like a group of people, like I went to a concert last night, like I kind of go back into that smaller self, like I start judging myself against others and think like I'm not as cool as them or whatever, looking at myself as not as worthy. And so that awareness really came to me last night. And this morning I've been processing it and just doing this with you guys today. It's just a really good awareness. And just I want to bring in that, just remembering that I'm empowered in my own soul's flame and being. So, yeah.
I love it. I think it's interesting how the themes are very individual, but yet they're also very universal, right? There's the there's the concert nuance that's definitely specific to your night last night, but then there's also I was invited by a friend tomorrow to go to this Western Christmas parade here, and I'm still like, I'm not sure I'm ready. I'm not sure I'm ready to go to a big crowd of people. I live in the forest, and then I'm like, I'm not sure. What if I don't dress up like a cowboy? Are they going to laugh at me? It's such a funny thing. But I think one of the other things that's interesting about this um, lunar cycle and this full moon is the authenticity of ourselves. That's where our power lies. We're no longer these marching into these little fitting ourselves into this stereotype, and then that's why we're worthy. We're really being invited to organically be who we are. Yeah. Gail and Dodie say wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Shannon. Oh, you guys are great. Anybody else have anything they want to share?
Hello. I also haven't been here in a long time.
Gosh,
Uh,
hi.
I know, hi. Um, this feels like a big full circle moment because in the time I think since I was last doing work with you, my my kids have been my biggest teachers around this. My daughter especially is just this little star seed, is not gonna conform to what you world are expecting. Um, and I've really gotten to like work with that. And this is the perfect day for me to be coming back to this because it's just like I have had to let go of all of those like expectations and stuff because she just won't. Um, and it's been really powerful to see the changes coming into myself and then being able to share that with my son as well, who needed her medicine. Um, yeah, but it feels really great to be in a place where I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. And it doesn't feel as hard or as scary. And I'm just grateful for the little people who can bring that.
Yeah, the little people are, it's so funny. They're just not, they don't have the same lived experience. They haven't been around as long. They didn't, not drink the Kool-Aid, but I think if the stuff that we're all kind of teasing out of ourselves, right, is this ingrained stuff that's just felt so comfortable, even though it might not be optimal, right? It's like, this is the language I live in. This is the country I speak on. I don't know if I want to go over there. How am I going to know how to get to where I got to go? So I think you're
Yeah.
right with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Okay. Well, then I'm going to keep going. We have about 10 minutes left. Let's see. So, um, I kind of wanted to offer if there's something to think about integrating the energy of the meditation and these realizations. So first I mentioned, let it sink in for a little bit of time. One of the things that's always good to do, whether we're doing an energy healing session or a clearing session, any kind of clearing and release, hydration. Water is just, it's physical, it's metaphorical. And also, the dream space might be a nice time. If dream space is a way that you get information, it might be interesting to just um, note what's happening in dream space or note any kind of mental shifts, emotional shifts, because it's that Gemini energy. If you do want to make a spray, I like to do use those things like with the intentionality of how I made it and let it be part of a ritual. I think if there's something that I am personally healing is the really walking the talk of integrating those old ways. They're not old, they're powerful, and they've been kind of pushed aside in exchange for something else that's more something we're used to. But I like the idea of just the intentionality of doing things, even cooking, even making something nourishing is there's the intentionality of our consciousness. Okay, so now I want to kind of shift gears and I want to show you guys what's so a couple of you on here today I know have been with me for a very long time in terms of this Lunar Herbal subscription that I'm doing. And I've been in the midst, talk about rebirthing it. You guys are probably aware, like new website and really trying to bring myself fully into in a way that feels authentic for me. And so I wanted to share this little update with you guys. And y- with everything, Shar asked about feedback for the app. Feel free to send me an email. You guys all have my email. If you don't want to share it here, that's totally fine. So here's the web page that we're all using right now, and you can see that you can watch the replays. But also this is leading to something. There's now a button. If you happen to want to join, this is not, if you do not feel called, do not worry about this at all. But I wanted to let you know that what I have been doing and what I'm kind of rebirthing, I want to bring it to a higher level. And so this, I've made a membership page where you're going to get to, I've collected all the monographs, so I'm in the process of collecting all the monographs for all the herbs that are grown here on the farm. And a monograph is just simply a basic statement of what the herbal actions are in the herbs and why you might use it and how you might use it to make it accessible, where if you don't want to come to all the gatherings and do everything as I'm saying, Lisa said use lavender, go, like let it be that you just want to, there's a whole library of herbs and stuff that you can just go through in this offering. And there's also going to be a little preparations forum where if you want to dabble in making tinctures or infusions, or we're going to be talking about an oxymel. We just did an oxymel, but like syrups and honeys and incense, natural incense. If that's something you're into, cool. You don't have to be into that to want to do this, but I really also wanted to kind of say that this is not a course. It's not something that I anyone expects anybody to keep up with. This is kind of my offering for me being organically who I am. And I just also wanted to show you a little bit of the back end that you can kind of hopefully see. So check out this. I will put this link in the chat. I'm going to email everybody about it if you want to check it out. It's $36 a month to get an herb for each month, and then there's also an option if you like the crystals and the other magical stuff. If you want to see that. Let me stop my share and get back to the chat. You can check it out. So I'm actually pretty thrilled that it's finally coming together. And I feel like it's been an extra 6 months beyond what I wanted it to be. But yeah, so I'll email you about it to check it out. For those of you who are already on the subscription, we can talk about whether or not you could just come access it for free. That's fine. I'll give you a code because I know that there's another subscription. So we'll find ways to integrate everybody as we're coming along. And I just kind of wanted to say, so yeah, so here's you get I'm going to give giving rituals, astrology guidance, just what I'm doing right now. And we meet with the new moon and the full moon. This particular 4-week offering, I really wanted to do it 4 times to encapsulate what the lunar cycle is, but we typically meet on Saturdays. So next week is for this intensive, we're going to be doing the waning moon integration. We're going to be looking at a restorative herbal tea, and we're going to be doing some more nervous system work. We might even be doing, if I have time, some somatic work. And really just together closing this container and closing this lunar cycle. All that stuff is going to be up. I'm going to do my best to get the recipe for the spray up for you guys next week. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you for being here with me. And also, I'm going to give a special offer for folks if anybody wants to join this. Uh, I'm going to offer 33% off for the first month, and everybody gets I made these Merkaba water bottles, which is just, it's a bamboo top water bottle, but it's got the Merkaba on it. And with the idea of what we were doing with the Masaru Emoto, like putting the words on the water type of a deal, I love the idea of having a water bottle that is being infused with sacred geometry. So I'm going to give those away for free to everybody who's a part of this circle. So for those of you who are already members, you're going to get one of those as a thank you for being who you are in the next shipment. So with that, I just kind of wanted to say thank you guys for being here with me today. And I'm blessed and grateful to have you all here with me. Anybody have any questions or anything you want to say before we sign off?
Just thank you so much. There's a lot. There's a lot. And it's all seems to be coming together. And so I can't really process or speak of it right now, but it's just we are where we need to be, right? And the universe has us and has us where we need to be. And even though some days I think, why am I here right now? It does seem to be coming together, and it's so nice to be together with a tribe that feels the same way. So thank you, everybody, for the circle today.
Thank you, Dodie. I totally agree. there's a lot. When you said that, I was like, oh, I know that feeling. But also, to Caitlin and everybody's else's points, like, but also I'm here for it. Like I'm here for it. I'm being cleansed and renewed by being alive and connected. That's why one of the things I think that I've repeated a little bit is we're not, but just bringing our consciousness to the moment is the medicine. It's not, I mean, it's not any particular thing. It's just having a space. And so I also just kind of love these gatherings. I feel like there's never been a moment where I'm like, oh man, I got to go get ready for this. Like, I'm just like, wee, let's go. I can't wait. And so I feel like there's something really sacred for coming together with, as you said, a tribe or a group of like-hearted people. And
Well,
go ahead.
I was just going to add, if you didn't think there's a lot going on, then you wouldn't be here, right? Like we're all here because everybody is of the same like-minded, right? Like everyone's feeling it, and it's nice to know that you're not alone, and that you. It's nice to see other people are aware, right? And are feeling that urge and that energy and that connection to seek out others who are also feeling that same energy and want to connect, right? It makes you feel part of, like you were saying, the tribe, and it's nice, and then it's. I wasn't even planning on being here. I just happened to see the email today, and I was home. I was working on something else, and I was like, "Let me just hop on," right? And it's you make time for it, and you're always going to extract something of value from these types of experiences and connections. So it's nice to be part of your circle of that. So I appreciate you and everybody's good energy.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate everybody, and even those of you who weren't able to. It's not a mandate that you have to speak in these
Mm.
types of gatherings. Like I think you guys know my jam is just let it be. But I feel like there's this every time I do this, there's like this energetic circle that's beyond time and space because we're all over the country at least, if not the world. And then, but you can kind of feel like this thing congeals for the time that we're together, and it really does feel like. These days when I do this, the rest of the day does feel like I'm a little bit more for me, like really aligned. So thank you guys. Yeah. Shar says thanks. Looking forward to the emails. Christina says thank you. Excited to be back again and see your face. I'm so excited to see you guys. Happy full moon. I will be here again next Saturday. And yeah, have a blessed rest of your day. And give me any feedback that you have if you about the stuff that I'm talking about if you want to. Not needed, but take care, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Lisa.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye, guys.